All right, everyone. This is Marcus Hain. The course is Poker Strategy: How I Make $5,000 Plus per Month Playing Cash Games. This is section 4, the final lesson of this section, and this section's been all about playing a hand. And now we're going to cover the last and final card that's seen on the community board, which is known as the river. So let's get started. Playing the river. So the river is a very unique situation because there is no potential for players to be able to improve the hand since no more cards are being dealt, obviously. Players are forced to make the best 5-card hands possible with what they are given and what they have. So this makes betting on the river very, very interesting. So some strategy tips for the river. So avoid betting with marginal hands. So it's actually better to check and call than it is to bet with something that's an average hand. Betting big is much more profitable than it is to bet small. So even if you don't always end up getting called, it's better that you bet big because the way you're looking at it is that your opponent has come this far and they're very unlikely for them to let go of their hand unless they're an advanced player. Third thing that you want to do is you want to avoid making crazy and wild bluffs. It's often easy to get spotted unless you're very careful. And as I mentioned, a lot of players will call on the river. So you don't want to be bluffing and especially get caught bluffing. Checking is a very valuable play on the river, and it does not show weakness on the river, but instead it can even instill fear in your opponents because you're ready to show your hand. As I mentioned earlier, never bet marginal hands. So a terrible mistake is betting a mediocre hand on the river even when you aren't sure if it's a winner or not. Your opponent's probably going to call and they're probably going to have a stronger hand. If your opponent folds, they're going to probably fold because they have the weaker hand, which is still not going to benefit you and you're taking unnecessary risk. And you don't offer your opponent the ability to bluff using a weaker hand when you do end up betting a marginal hand. So in each of these situations, we aren't really benefiting from making the bet, so we simply end up shooting ourselves in the foot. So my best suggestion for you guys is do not bet marginal hands on the river. If you think you have the best hand on the river, make a big bet instead of a small bet when this is the case. You might not get called as often, but you're going to end up making more money in the long haul. So let me give you guys a really good example. So we're on the river with the best hand in the pot is $20. If you bet $20, you get called 3 out of 10 times or 30% of the times. If you bet $5, you get called 9 out of 10 times. In situation 1, you win $60 by betting $20, or you can win $45 by betting $5. The bigger bet will always make you more long-term money. That's a difference of $15 with you not having to show your hand 6 extra times. So that's a key factor you guys want to keep in mind. Bluffing the river. So new players love making wild bluffs on the river. The problem with river bluffs is that they are random and look completely out of place during a specific hand. So this is usually a last-ditch attempt to win a pot, and it can usually backfire rather terribly. So before bluffing on the river, think about how the rest of the hand is played out and whether or not your bet on the river is going to be even a least bit suspicious to your opponent. So you really want to be careful with this, and you don't want to be making the new and rookie mistakes. That's it for this lesson and this section. I'll catch you guys in the next section.